What do you look for when you're looking to partner with agents and help agents across the country? What do you seek out and look for? And what are some pros and what you're really looking seeking it out? But what's also some like cons or like turnoffs for you?
Say my favorite number one quality that I like in an agent is resourcefulness.
Okay.
Right? They have the ability to manage themselves from a resourcefulness standpoint, that if they don't know the answer, they know to go find the answer, and they're not afraid to go look for the answer. And they have that ability to kind of self-manage themselves in that way, where they don't have to pick up the phone and just call somebody every time just for a simple answer. Like, they know how to go look for it. And be careful that you don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you're an agent that works with me, don't call me and ask me questions. That's not it.
Yeah.
But if you're resourceful, if you're truly resourceful in an independent way to manage yourself, then that means that you have the skill to be successful as an independent agent. Because independent agent, you're your own boss. Nobody's going to get you out of bed in the morning. Nobody's going to tell you to call the leads. I mean, we might recommend you call them, but ultimately you're the one that's got to pick up the phone and call them.
Yes.
So if you have the ability to be resourceful and manage yourself in that way, to get information, put it in play, and put it in action, that's the best skill an agent can have. Everything else you can learn. It's hard to learn resourcefulness. That's something that's inside, I think, people. They have the confidence to be like, I don't know the answer, but I know where to go look for it, and I'm going to go look for it.
Yep.
Right? And then they learn it, and then they put it into play. Pretty much everything else in insurance you can learn.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. If there's a couple more questions, if there's an agent out there and they're like, you know what, I really if you could give them one thing that they should focus on within their business that is guaranteed to drive results, if they're not getting the results they would like, what's one thing you're like, if you implement this, you're going to see results, your income's going to grow, you're going to make more sales, and it's going to benefit them later?
Base level is just activity.
Yeah.
Just keep yourself active. And that's true no matter where you are in your growth. I mean, it's especially true when you're new. If you're a brand new agent in your first year, maybe 2 years, pretty much 90% of your activity is prospecting, and it needs to be. Until you get a book of business that's big enough that it requires your time from a service standpoint, and you can even outsource that stuff so that your time is free to continue prospecting. But that's the number one thing that you should always be doing. You should always be prospecting. As soon as you stop prospecting, your business stops growing. And you have to always keep that pipeline full. So you can always focus on activity. If that's the one thing, again, it's kind of about resourcefulness, right? If you can learn all the other things in insurance and we'll iron all those out, but you have to bring the activity. If you have that and you're willing to stay active and keep yourself busy prospecting and looking for organic growth in your business, the rest of it, again, can be learned and will blossom as the activity pushes.
Yeah, because you're either prospecting or selling. Like, as an agent,
correct.
Is there anything else, really?
They're really not.
I mean, yeah, there's some admin work, but
right, there's some admin work, but if you don't have a book of
business,
business, there's nothing admin in the first place. So,
yeah,
that's when I told Grace when she started, I'm like, look, you should always be prospecting. That's the number one thing. Like, don't ever stop. 8 hours a day, that's what you should be doing.
What do you think the average agent spends per day in either prospecting or selling? If like the average agent out there, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, based on what I've seen, I would say the average guy's probably spending maximum around 4 hours really prospecting hard.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about a good agent that goes in the office, bangs out, 4 hours or maybe 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, and he's just hardcore on the phone prospecting. I would say that's about it.
That's crazy.
And that's not terrible, but...
And you could make 6 figures working 20 hours a week in this business.
Truly could.
I mean, you don't want to.
No.
I don't think, but you technically could.
You have trouble doing it in your first year unless you're Cody Askins, but you didn't work 20 hours a week.
20 hours.
You worked a lot more hours than that, I'm sure.
I would work 20 hours on the weekend.
And I was terrible when I first started, and I had to put in 60 hours just to try to get a few sales. It took me a while. I was kind of a slow learner in insurance for a bit. Particularly I struggled with that cancer product, and I just wasn't very good at selling it. And then when I got introduced to Medicare, it made more sense to me. I also learned, because I have a passion for the elderly, that this was a space where my heart belongs, right? So once I got into Medicare, I picked it up faster and I started doing a lot better. Not to mention the comp was a lot better, which made it easier.
True that. Okay, true that. What's one thing I haven't asked or talked about that you would like to share with our agents on the channel that are jumping in and hanging out with Tony and I today here in Illinois? Because you're a great speaker off the cuff anyway, so he could have went like 20 minutes with me not even asking anything, by the way. Every time I'm at a conference and I'm speaking, what do I always do?
Hey, introduce me.
Dude,
You want to introduce me? I'm like, sure.
he's phenomenal at it too.
Well, because
And it gives us both a chance to work those muscles.
yeah. And so this will lead into what you haven't asked.
Okay.
It's a philosophy that I try to base a lot of my own personal activity on. We've talked about it before, but it's a quote that Sun Tzu, who wrote The Art of War, which is a phenomenal book. Even if you're not into war, it's a great book on strategy and mindset, and kind of how to base your activity and your strategy on building your goals and attacking your business. Great book.
Awesome.
But there's a quote in there that said that opportunities multiply as opportunities are seized, which basically means if you're willing to put yourself out there and take advantage of opportunity or try it,
Yes.
right, take a stab at it, then you're going to get more opportunities. So I mention that because just like you said, like every time that you ask me, like, hey, you want to introduce me at this event? I'm like, yes. I'm always going to say yes for two reasons. One, it's an opportunity that I get to work with you, which I always look for. It's an
Thanks,
opportunity that I can continue to practice my craft of public speaking and doing
Yes.
introductions and emceeing. So it's always an opportunity. And every time I take advantage of that, somebody notices it.
Yeah, it's FaceTime too.
FaceTime, somebody
Yeah.
catches it, even if it's just me introduce you for 3 minutes.
Yes.
3 people came and talked to me after I introduced you
Wow.
at the end of that talk.
That's awesome.
One of them gave me a gift. The other 2 scheduled appointments with me to talk about business later.
Wow.
So those, like taking that opportunity to put myself out there in front of the right, because you draw a big audience.
Thanks,
So I'm like,
Cody.
yeah, if I can take 3 minutes to hang out with Cody's audience and get some attention, I want it.
Yeah.
Because I seize that opportunity and I get more. And it's blossomed because I got the opportunity to speak at Medicare Con.
Yes.
I've had the opportunity to speak on panels here now because people have seen me speak. And like, okay, this guy can handle himself okay as a
Exactly.
speaker. So that's who we want on the panel. We want people that can speak well, or we want
Correct.
someone that can, give a talk well or MC an event well. So I'm always looking to take those opportunities because it's going to help me get better, and then I'm going to get more opportunities because of that.
Totally. That's so good to be seeking out opportunities, pushing the envelope, getting out there. Tony's moderating a panel at 3:45 that I'm on. That'll be a ton of fun. Okay. We met a few people that were here that are subscribed to the channel. If you're not, please do me a favor and come hang out with Tony and I in some city sometime. Okay.
Houston, coming up soon.
Yes, October the 8th, Houston. We're doing a 10-city road show. No matter where you are in the country, I promise you, we will be by your door, close enough that you could drive. The question is whether you're actually going to show up. Okay.
Yes.
Say an agent's struggling, they're thinking about quitting. What's some parting motivational words you can add before we wrap this up?
Don't quit. Don't quit.
Yeah.
Listen to me very closely here. I sucked at insurance for a long time. If you don't quit, life and insurance eventually gets really good. This is especially in the Medicare space. You can be average at Medicare and still make a killing in just a couple, 2 or 3, maybe 4 years at worst. And I'm talking renewal income that now works for you. Just don't quit. Push. Stay in it. Stay committed to your goals. This business gets really good as long as you just stick around long enough, I promise. You don't have to
Boom.
make $100,000 your first year. I mean, do it if you can, but try as
Yeah.
hard. But even if you don't be like, oh, I failed, this sucks, I quit. No. The average agent in their first year probably doesn't make more than 20, 30 grand, being honest, right? The average agent, brand new. But their skill set grows. The good news is because it's renewals, they're going to get paid that money again, and it's just going to compound. So don't quit, man.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. Okay, I'm going to jump into the content. I've got a 6-page ebook. If you would like a free copy of the ebook, go to CodyAskins.com/ebook. Okay, write that down, go on your phone. You can even grab it now and follow along. Again, CodyAskins.com, my first name, last name.com /